Now for the track guide. Before starting, if you want to improve at a quicker pace, check out GITGUDracing.com. I have a lot of courses that can help you with that. Now going into the track guide itself, for turn 1, you really want to use everything on corner entry. Reference for braking will be number 4. Make sure you're doing the lift of throttle and applying the brakes slightly before it. Super important to just stabilize the car on entry because you're braking downhill. If you brake too hard, then it will be very hard to also turn into a corner. So make sure you're doing it nice and early. Make sure you're using all this space around here. It's not an off track and it will help a lot. And then you will turn into the corner in third gear, second gear when you get closer. And what you want to do is to trail brake a lot. This is a double apex approach. So we're taking the first apex near the red curb. Then we're trail braking, still holding the brakes, The goal is to let the car track out close to the center left, not all the way towards the center, but center left, and then clip the second apex. But as you can notice here, we're trail braking in the lower percentages, holding 3% on the trail brake in second gear. Make sure you're using the steering wheel, so don't be afraid to crank up the wheel past the 900 mark, and then press the throttle. When you're pressing the throttle, you should be aiming to clip the second red curb. So keep tight towards these curbs, and in the middle of the complex of corners, track a little bit wider. Second gear, third gear on your exit, use all the space right here. If you see that you're holding the throttle and it takes a little bit too much time to modulate to reach 100% throttle, it means you push the throttle way too early or you turn too early into the corner. So make sure that you're pressing the throttle aggressively and you're able to get to 100% throttle quickly. Now for the next right-hander, reference for braking will be number 2, but make sure you're positioning the car so that you're almost feeling the gravel on the left side of the tires. Super important here to use every bit of the track. As you can notice from this stop frame, look how much we're using. You see the left tires is really brushing the gravel. Super important, braking and turning at the same time. In third gear, maintain low percent trail braking up until you get to the red sausage curb. Don't hit it, just get very close to it and maybe clip it a little bit, but don't go completely on it because then it will unsettle the car and you will just go wide. Once again, super important to be aggressive on throttle. And now for the next corner, first step, make sure you're using everything. Then when this blue part of the curb ends, you want to brake and turn, but the brake is so light, you're just barely holding the brakes. Like that, for 2%, 1%, and super important, before hitting the red sausage curb, you should be on throttle here. This corner, you just need the brakes to make the car rotate, to put a little bit of weight on the front tires. You don't want to over slow. And you also want to be earlier than the apex on throttle. You want to go completely over the red sausage curb. The car can take it here. This curb is not as punishing as the previous one. And now you'll gain all that time on this straight. And by the way, this was done with a fixed setup. But if you want to go even quicker, I highly encourage you to check Go Setups. They have amazing setups, really fast, and we also have a 10% discount code. Now for the next corner, reference for braking will be this white line before number 2. You want to brake on the curb, use every bit of the track in third gear, and super important around here is to trail brake a lot more than you think. So look, still on the brakes, still on the brakes, still on the brakes. We're going past the curb. When we don't see the red sausage curb, that's when we push the throttle. So if you look at the brake trace, it's a long trail braking zone and you should keep a very tight line around here. Notice this white part of the curb, keeping it very tight, 100% throttle using all this space. And now we go to towards the left-hander, the blind left-hander, braking at number 1 and number 2, I'm sorry. And you want to just push the brake a little bit aggressive initially in fourth gear and then dropping it quite quickly in lower percentage so that you are generating some oversteer at turn in, getting very close to the red sausage curb without completely going over it, and then using all the track. If you look at the inputs, it's like 0-100 on the throttle. Super important. Now, we will be hitting the rev limiter in fourth gear. Don't go to fifth, it's not worth it. Stay in fourth, hit the rev limiter, and then brake when you're still going uphill. So brake nice and early, brake softer, because the car will float here at this crest. But then when the car starts to land, like right now, and the front tires are gripping the tarmac, then you want to bump up the pressure of the brake. So if you look at the brake trace, you see it's not like in all the corners where we brake to the threshold braking initially very, very hard, very quickly, but instead we're building up the brake pressure. This is super important. And in second gear, you want to have the car in the center right. So don't go all the way towards the right, center right, then turn into the corner. Make sure you're cutting here a lot. Go all the way to the gravel. So make sure you're cutting this a lot. Make sure you're using a lot of steering wheel angle. And still trail brake up until the left tires are past the curb. Up until the front tires are past the curb. When that happens, you should push the throttle quite aggressively and use quick hands to go from right to left so that you're straightening up the car. Because ideally, you want to almost draw a straight line in between these two corners of the chicane. And yeah, just go just like that to shorten the distance. It's not exactly a chicane, but you really have to shorten the distance so that you will gain a lot of time. Now, for this corner, you will stay in the center of the track, dropping the throttle, braking in the 5% range, getting very close to the red sausage curb, and before that, pressing the throttle. Don't go all the way to the gravel trap, like hit the curb, but don't go all the way to the right because you don't have enough time to reposition. And speaking of this positioning, you should be braking before arriving at the curb. When you're close to this white part of the curb before number 2, start to brake. Align yourself while braking. This is very uncomfortable, but this is the quickest way around here. And then in third gear, while you're still trailing in lower percentage, still holding 4%, get into this compression. There's a lot of grip around here, so the moment that the car lands very close to the red sausage curb, you can hit it and press 100% on the throttle. Here it's going to be fine if you even go deeper than this, because you have enough time to reposition. And now reference for braking will be the number 2. Slightly before it, you want to brake. Use this curb while braking. Don't brake very hard though. You really have to release the brakes while you're mounting this curb, because otherwise the ABS will kick in. And now for this corner, in second gear, trailing, getting very close to the red sausage curb, touching it a little bit and pushing the throttle on our way out. Now, super important to use all this part of the curb and don't force the car early towards the left side. You can keep it straight a little bit more. In short, that's the guide. So I hope you have a good time around here. And once again, if you want to improve at a quicker pace, GITGUDRacing.com and go setups. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.